After being delisted by Carlton at the end of the 2024 trade period, Jack Carroll is now set to join St Kilda. 188cm midfielder, only 21 years old, showed some great signs earlier in the year for Carlton. Came on as a sub in round 1 or opening round versus Brisbane. 10 disposals, had a goal, looked really great on that day, followed that up with 20 possessions against Richmond. So definitely has some promise. I've got a few notes here I'll go through. Yeah, let's get into why this is a pretty good pickup for St Kilda in my opinion. So firstly, we'll just jump on the Carlton website, look at his statistics. So midfielder forward, 21 years of age, 188 centimeters. So that's sort of 21, that's an age group I think we really need to add to. Average 10 disposals, 5 kicks, 5 handballs, 3 marks, 2 tackles, and you remember a lot of these, he's coming on as the sub. I don't have the exact statistics, but came on as the sub in a lot of these games. So he has season high 20 disposals. So he hit 20 disposals twice, I want to say, against Richmond and Fremantle. But yeah, you can see a lot of games as sub here. Had a pretty good performance against North Melbourne here, and then another one really good against West Coast here. Kicked 4 goals this year, so pretty solid this year in 2024. In 2023, only managed the 1 game, but from what I've read, he seemed pretty injured. He was pretty injury hit in 2023. Then debuted in 2022. 19, 18, 11, 10, 8. So he really jumped out the gun, really, looking at that. And so I've got a few notes here. So showed like really early on, he showed a lot of potential and he showed that he really took that step up in form. So he was playing a lot of really early games, but then sort of dropped off towards the end of the season, came back in when they had those injury issues. And from what I read from Carlton fans, they were like, look, he showed a lot of promise and he probably needs another pre-season to really develop that and probably make it through a full season. So I'm really excited about that. So we've brought him in and hopefully he can just jump out the gate and really prove himself. He's a really pacey midfielder as well, and he's also a left footer. That's something we don't really have a lot of left footers in this team. Good kick inside 50 from what I've heard. It's definitely something we need to add. And then, so he mainly got forced out due to, I'd say, Carlton grabbing pick 3. They're obviously going to target a midfielder of that nature. And you look at who's going to be there. Sam Layla, Sid Draper. Those are probably the 2 they'd be looking to grab at pick 3. They're all pacey midfielders that have really good kicks inside 50. Can go forward and kick goals. And look, probably just forced Carroll out. He was out of contract. I think they got Jackson Binns, Cripple Lord, they're all still at the club, they were in contract, so I think Carroll was just sort of the odd one out. I think also from what I read, like Carlton fans did really want to keep him. They thought he really showed a lot of promise and that they really needed to keep him on the list, but obviously you've got a really stacked midfield at Carlton, you can't keep everyone, and we're fine picking him up. A lot of people are going to say, oh, we're picking up another Carlton player, Sauce has done it again, he's recycled. First off, Sauce didn't draft him, Sauce was gone by then. And second off, if he's got talent, we're obviously going to want to pick him up. We're not just picking up because he's from Carlton. He showed a lot of talent, and there'll be a few highlights shown throughout this video, but he can definitely add to this midfield, and sort of a point of difference sort of with that sort of, he's pacey, but he's also got that really good height, 188 centimeters, really good kick, inside 50. It's not something we have, that's something we need. The forward like Max King. And then he's also a versatile midfielder, so he can not only play inside, but he can also play outside. He's very classy, so you know, he's very like, he really adds to that depth. Like, he's a midfielder we'd target in the draft if he was in the draft, I reckon. Will we draft him? You know, where would we draft him if he was in the open draft? Who knows? But if a prospect like him, you know, you're 18 years old, if that prospect's there, I think he's probably in that range that we'd look to grab him. I think he fits pretty perfect within our team. And then obviously adds to the midfield depth. Obviously need it. And then sort of 2 things I want to touch on is, what does this mean for those fringe mids that we already have in our team? So, you know, the likes of Garcia, Burns and Jones. For Garcia and Burns, they're sort of that age range. They're 18, 19, 20, 21. I think Burns is 21 or 20 and Garcia is 18, 19. So what does this mean for them? I'd probably say right now, like before starting any preseason training, you'd have to have Garcia and Burns above him, obviously. They've proven that they can play in our team. But does Carroll jump them come January, February, March? I think probably he does. I think we'd probably select a Carroll over a Garcia and a Burns. Especially since they're sort of similar players, especially Garcia. Like, I want to say Garcia is 187 centimeters. Garcia has more of that tackling aspect to him, and that's what a lot of Carlton fans said as well. He really needs to work on his aggressiveness, both getting the ball and working with the team. Burns, obviously pacey as well. And then Jones is the big one, so we've re-signed Jones for this year. Now I bring in Jack Carroll. Does that affect how many games Jones plays? Probably not, because I want to say Jones wouldn't have played every game this year. I really only see Jones as a depth midfielder with that sort of speedy pace. So now, you know, a bit of criticism that we've had in the past is that we were sort of a one-pace midfield. We were very slow. You're looking at it now, we've actually got a bunch of speedy midfielders with the likes of, you know, Garcia, Burns, Jones, Carroll, Wilson. You know, he's more of an outside player, and Asai is probably a bit more of a half-back, but they can always move into the midfield. And another bit I want to touch on is how does this affect our draft, you know? We've brought in another midfielder now. Do we look to take a key position player with one of our top 10 picks? Or do we still go down the aspect of grabbing 2 mids? Look, I think we'll still grab 2 mids if 2 of those A-grade mids are there. But, you know, we could always trade down or trade up. I definitely don't think we'd grab a key position player if we were stuck at 7 and 8 or wherever that moves to on draft night, 10 and 11. And then it sort of adds to our growing list of WA prospects. So we've got Collard, we drafted Collard last year, Hill we signed up, and we've also got Henry on the list. So we've now got 4 WA boys on the list. Could that lead us to drafting a Bo Allen type in this draft? Obviously, if we got a lot of these boys, is the go home factor really an issue now? We've seen that we've got a lot of South Australian boys on the list, so when we drafted Filippo, we didn't really see the go home factor as an issue. Obviously, we've got Nasai on the list, Wilkie, Keeler, just to name a few there. So yeah, does this mean we're actually going to go and target Bo Allen, another big-bodied midfielder above 190? But yeah, overall, I think Carroll is a great pickup for us. I don't think anyone should be hating it. I know some people are going to be like, oh, we've picked up another Carlton midfielder, but just because he's from Carlton doesn't make a difference. If anything, actually probably means it's better for us. Like, he played 15 games in that Carlton midfield. They've got like 5 All-Australians in that midfield. It's absolutely absurd. But yeah, obviously it will cop criticism because it's from a Carlton midfield perspective, but he's a good prospect. I think everyone should be excited. I think teams like GWS and West Coast were going for him pretty hard, and we've managed to land him. Not exactly sure if he signs on today exactly, or if he signs on, well, he'd sort of have to as a delisted free agent because the deadline's today. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, and I've got a pretty cool announcement. It's either going to be in my next video or the next one after that. It's going to be before the draft. But yeah, hopefully you guys are pretty interested in that. Come back to hear that, and I'll see you guys in the next video.